Hi, I'm Tanya, and in today's session, we're going to go through a series of exercises working from the head down to the feet that are designed to open up the joints and strengthen our joint range of motion and help increase our mobility and flexibility there. So we're going to start standing with our feet about 6 to 8 inches apart. You want to bring your hips back over your ankles so that you are standing stacked, ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, and ears, and lengthen the spine. Feel yourself grow long and tall out through the crown of the head. Allow the shoulders to drop, and we're going to start with the neck. So we're going to go 2 times in each direction. We're going to start by nodding the head forward. Think of lifting the base of the skull as you drop the head and just let the weight of your head hang. And then lift the head up. Make sure that your knees are not locked out. Keep your knee joints soft. And again, drop the head down and lift back up. And come to center. Okay, so now you're going to clasp your hands behind your back and let your hands hang heavy down your back to help keep your shoulders down. And we're going to look left to right, or right to left. I'm going to try to remember to mirror you. Okay, look to your right and to your left. And you want to reach for your greatest range of motion that you have without any pain, because we want to push our joints to their end range. Come back to center. And now we're going to drop the right ear to the right shoulder. Keep that left shoulder down. And then to the other side. Now, if you feel any pinching on the underside, or what we call close angle pinching or impingement, you want to back away from that. Don't ever push yourself into a place of pain. Back away from it and then stretch that tightness when you go in the opposite direction. Okay, now we're going to roll the head. We'll go 2 times to the right. I keep wanting to go to my right. And around. Keep the shoulders down. Try to keep your hands hanging down heavy down the center of your back. And as we come to center, we'll go the other way. 2 times around. Take it nice and slow. Try to keep the rest of the body still, and remember the knee joints are soft. And come to center and bring the head up. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing with the spine. So I'm going to have you place your hands behind your head, and you're going to tuck the tailbone under so that the low back is in flexion as well, and that we stabilize the pelvis and don't let it move. So as we flex forward, I don't want you to let your hips go out, because we're really going to focus on stretching the spine. So we want to anchor the pelvis and then round the spine over. Okay. So stand tall, tuck the tailbone, lengthen the spine, and begin to curl forward from the head and the neck and the chest over. Keep tucking the tailbone, rounding the spine as much as you can. Use your abdominals, pull them back into your body. Remember, it's our abdominals that flex our spine. And then bring it up. And lift the spine tall and go back into extension. And come back to center. And we'll go one more time forward in flexion. Tuck the tailbone again. Round forward. Soften the knees. And come back up. And we'll go into extension. And come back to center. Keeping your hands behind your head, we're going to rotate just like we did with the neck. So we're going to keep the hips square. So as we rotate to the right, you're going to think you're going to push your right hip forward. Otherwise, what tends to happen is the pelvis spins with the torso. So we're going to push the right hip bone forward as we rotate to the right and come back to center. I'm going to cue you to inhale as you rotate to help lengthen the spine. Exhale as you come back to center. Inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale. Okay, we're going to go side to side now. Again, really keep the pelvis still. We don't want the hips to move out to the side on this exercise. We want to stabilize, grow tall, and come over to your right. And come back to center. Lift tall and over to your left. And back. And one more time. And back. And grow tall and over and come back. Now we're going to roll the spine just like we did the neck. So we're going to flex and go to your right. Keep the hips square to the side, to the back, and to extension. We're going to go 2 times around. And as we come to center, we'll reverse. I try to remember to push my left hip bone forward as I'm going around to the left so that I don't rotate my pelvis when I'm rotating my spine. And as we come back to center, then roll the spine up. Okay, so now we're going to come down to the shoulders. So we're going to do some shoulder rolls. I want you to watch that your thumbs are pointed forward. When the shoulders are sitting properly and resting on the back of the rib cage, our thumb should be pointed forward. If you notice that you can see a portion of the backs of your hands, that means that your shoulders are rounding forward and sitting on the front of your chest. So think collarbones nice and broad, arms hang down, and you should see your thumbs forward. You want to keep your thumbs forward the whole time. So when we push the shoulders forward when we go for our shoulder rolls, make sure that you're not rounding the shoulders and going into it. So press the shoulders forward, lift up towards the ears as high as you can, squeeze together in the back, and press down. Now try to make sure that you're not using your spine. So you don't want to think push the chest forward and pull the shoulders back. We want to just move the shoulder blades forward, up, squeeze together, and down. And forward, up, back, and down. Let's reverse it now. So down, squeeze together in the back, lift up, and push the shoulders forward. Down, back, up, and forward. Remember that we want to push to the biggest range that we have. We want to strengthen the muscles at their end ranges because that's what will tell our body, our brain, and our joints then that they are safe in that position, that the muscles are strong enough to hold them in that position and to take load in that position. So we want to strengthen those muscle connections at those end ranges. Okay, so now we're going to go to big arm circles. Going to start with thumbs forward. Again, we're going to keep the spine, the pelvis really still, and we also want to keep the shoulders down as much as possible. Lift the arms up. You're going to come up as high up as you can, reaching back behind your ears as long as you aren't arching your back. Then start to turn the palms away and keep squeezing back behind you. Arms stay long. Continue to rotate the arms in the shoulder joint and see if you can bring your arms together behind you and bring it forward. Okay, you want to lift up, back behind you as high as you can. You're squeezing them together. I don't want you to bend your elbows to try to get your hands together. Remember, this is all about working the arm up in the shoulder joint. So this doesn't help us at all. So you're going to squeeze together back behind you, lift, rotate the arms, keep the shoulders down, keep the ribs down, and bring it down in front. Let's go a couple more times with that. Back. Start to turn the palms away. Keep reaching back behind you. Rotate and lower down. Pinky should be leading forward here. And then thumbs reach back. Lift as high as you can. Turn. Pull the shoulder blades down. The arms are still reaching back behind you. This should be hard work. I start to sweat just doing these. Okay, one more time. Back. I'm really reaching, I'm really pushing my end range. Rotate as far as I can. Squeeze together behind me and lower down. And I got to be careful because the rest of my body does start to tense up, but I just want to make sure that I don't lock out my knees and push into the backs of my knees. And bring it up. And lower down. Okay, now we're going to work down the arms to the elbows. So what we're really working is the forearm here and the elbow joint. So we're going to be rotating the forearm and keeping the upper arm really still so that we're working this elbow joint. So you're going to bring the hands, the forearms into pronation. You're going to bring the thumbs down into the center. Okay, so we're going to push down, keep your elbows tucked in by your side, and then go into supination where we're going to roll the forearms out. Nothing moves up here in my upper arm. And I come up and I try to make this W shape. And down. And open. And I'm really trying to turn the pinky edge of my hand towards the back of me. And then down. And up. And down. Let's do one more this direction. And now we're going to reverse. Bring it up in pronation, open out to supination, and lower down. And in, and down. Let's do a couple more. This is really great if you do any type of work with your hands, computer work, work in a kitchen, do a lot of writing, anything that you're really working with your arms and your hands during the day. Okay, now we're going to go to our wrists. So I want you to stabilize your forearm. You can either just hold it here in the air, or if you want to come down and be seated and block your arm on your thigh, you can do that. When we rotate our wrist, it's very common for our forearm to want to twist with us. So we want to block that out so that we are just moving our wrist. And I'm going to have you try to keep your hand like a blade so that you don't fold the fingers as you come around. Want to really just isolate the wrists and not bring any other joints into play. Let's do about 3 more rotations. 1. Again, always take it nice and slow. 2. And 3. Okay, we're going to reverse. 1. 2. And 3. Let's do a couple more. Okay, let's switch hands. Okay, circling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go to 8, 7. You can do 10, 15 of these each direction. Today we'll just go to 8, 2, 3, 4. Try to get the most range that you can. 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. Okay, so we're going to come to our hips now. And I'm trying to decide what the best way to do this is with my microphone pack on. So I think what we'll do is I'll do the first one on the side. Okay. So we want to keep the pelvis still. The hip means where the leg comes in and connects with the pelvis. So we want to work that hip joint. So what we're going to do is we're going to rotate the leg in the hip joint. So make sure that your hips are stacked, and go ahead and place your hand on your hip so that you can feel that it stays stable. Your bottom leg can be bent to help you stabilize. And we're going to keep the knee bent so that we aren't getting into extending and flexing the knee, that we just keep that still. And if it's hard for you, if when you're circling the leg, you tend to open up your knee, if you want to get a little ball and tuck it in behind your knee, or a little rolled up towel, just to give you something to squeeze that will help you keep your knee closed. So we're going to bring it forward into flexion. And you're going to really pull that up as high up as you can and feel like you're squeezing it towards your body. Then we're going to open like a door. Now, at this point, I don't want the hip to roll back. I want the pelvis to stay still, because what we're doing is we're bringing the leg into external rotation. So you're going to push the knee back and try to push the ankle forward. Now from here, the knee's going to drop straight down as we come into abduction. And I want you to lift that leg as high as you can without being in external rotation. So you come down to where the knee's pointed forward and you're lifting as high as you can. And then you take it back around to extension. The leg does not move very far back into extension without arching the back. So I want you to keep the back really still and just squeeze your glute and your hamstring to take the leg back. Okay? So we'll bring it forward, open like a door into that external rotation, come into abduction, and take it around to the back in extension. And again, flexion, external rotation, abduction, and extension. So the stronger that our hip joint is, the more stability it's going to have. And at the same time, the more mobility it's going to have. So that means more freedom in your movement and less injuries. So that's always a great combination. Okay, now let's reverse it. Take it back into extension. You're going to lift up and bring it to the side so that it's in that abduction, and then pull the knee back and turn it up to the ceiling and push the ankle forward. That's that external rotation, and I'm feeling that right at my sit bones. And then bring it into flexion. Around the back, extension. Lift for abduction, external rotation, and flexion. Around the back. Lift, rotate, and forward. And back, lift, rotate, and forward. Okay, we'll flip over to the other side. Okay, stacking the hips. Bring it forward, open like a door, abduction, and around to the back. And forward, and open, abduction, and back. Now notice that my body is staying really still. I'm not tipping and leaning forward or arching my back to get my leg back behind me, keeping the body really still, because we don't want the spine coming into play at all when we're trying to mobilize the hip. We want the torso to stay strong. So working like this is really a good core strengthener, because what our core muscles do is they stabilize the spine and pelvis during movement. So by keeping my spine really still while I'm moving my leg around in the hip joint, I'm also strengthening my core. Let's take it back. Sorry if I'm not giving you guys even counts in both directions. When I start to talk, I lose my count. So hope you don't get too caught up in the number of reps that we're doing in each direction or each side. And back, up, and forward, and we'll go one more. And forward. Good. Okay, so now we're going to come to our knee joints. So I don't know if you can see on camera, but when I turn my lower leg, I'm rotating my tibia bone here in my knee joint. So that's what we want to be focusing on during this. So bringing the leg up, I'm going to turn my lower leg inward and then extend. And I'm not going to go all the way straight, because once I go all the way straight, that tibia has to come back to center. So I want to stay in that internal rotation, bring it just before straight, and then turn it out to external rotation and bring it down. In. And 3. So you want to feel that you're not moving your thigh at all. 4. Because we want to work just at the knee joint down. 5. And we want to take it slow, because with all of these we want time under tension, meaning we want that muscle working for a period of time in that position or in that motion. Let's do 2 more. Okay, and now we'll reverse. So keep the foot turned out and turn just the lower leg and the foot. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, put yourself in any position that you need to be comfortable. If you need to lean back against a wall, if it's hard for you to sit up and to hold your leg up like that, and you need to lean back against a wall. Also, if you're having difficulty with that position, you can come down onto the floor, onto your stomach, and you can do the exercise here. Again, you just want to make sure that you don't take the leg completely straight at the bottom, and you can do the exercises this way as well if you're having difficulty sitting. Or you could sit on a chair or a little stool or something that will help lift your hips up if that makes it easier for you. Okay, onto our other leg. 2, 3. And if you need to, place a hand on your thigh just to feel, make sure that that thigh bone isn't moving. The muscles in the upper leg will still engage a little bit. You might feel that, but you want to make sure that you're not feeling the bone rotating. Two more times. And we'll reverse now. Keep the foot open and turn it in and down, out. And 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so now we're going to come down to our ankles. Again, if you have difficulty in this position, lean against a wall, lay on your stomach, and we're going to do ankle rolls. We're going to go 10 times, nice and big and slow, in the same direction. 2, 3, 4, really push, make those circles as big as you can. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and we'll go in the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry about that, guys. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, now we're going to come down to our toes. So our toes are actually connected to the arches in our feet. We have different arches in our feet. We have medial arch, we have the lateral arch, we have the transverse arch. So we want to work our toes, and also our toes are super important. Our flexibility in our toes and the strength in our toes are really important for propelling us when we walk and for proper gait. So we're going to separate the big toes from the 4 toes. So we're going to lift just the big toes, pull them back as strongly as you can, and then push your big toes into the floor and lift your 4 toes. If this is challenging for you, because we don't often think about exercising our feet in this way or exercising our toes in this way. So if this is challenging for you, you can focus on doing just 1 foot at a time. And if it's still hard, just help your foot out and let your body feel what it should feel like to separate the big toe from the 4 toes. Hold your big toe down, try to lift your 4 toes up, and then hold your 4 toes down and try to lift the big toe up. And just work with it like that for a while if you need to. And then as you get that control, then you can start working them together. Good. Okay. All right. There you go. So we are done. We have worked head to toe all of the major joints in the body. These are really great exercises to do every day because it's important to keep the joints mobile and to strengthen them. So I enjoyed working with you today, and I look forward to our next session.